This podcast is being brought to you by WXAV 88.3 FM and WXAV.com. WXAV, bringing the best podcasts to you.
Support for WXAV 88.3 FM and WXAV.com is being provided by Bookies, new and used books. Bookies is an independent bookstore located at 10324 Southwestern Avenue in Chicago. They have a collection of new and used books and accept book trade-ins and donations. More information is available at bookiechicago.com and on Instagram at bookiechicago.
Support for WXAV 88.3 FM and WXAV.com is provided by Northwest Community Credit Union. Northwest Community Credit Union is located on campus inside the Graham School of Management and offers financial services for the St. Xavier community. Services include student credit cards, student loans, and other financial resources. More information is available at nwccu.com.
Hello everyone, my name is Daniel Justic.
And my name is Perla Cobos.
And welcome back to episode 3 of
No Justice, No One Piece,
the podcast where we discuss the most popular anime and manga in the world, One Piece, and connect the themes we encounter to past and present atrocities going on in our own world.
Today we will be covering Alabasta both anime and manga-wise, and we are glad that you can join us, and let's get right into it.
Alright, so the first thing I want to highlight is just Alabasta, I feel, is really the first arc where politics is the main problem, the main discourse going on.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, there's political themes throughout all the arcs, as we've discussed, but this is the first one where the problem with Crocodile and Cobra battling for who's going to be king is, like, the center thing.
Yeah.
The center conflict. It really shows, like, a turning point in One Piece where it starts to get a lot more political focused. And I really like that.
And a lot more serious. The stakes are higher this time. Like before it was like, oh, our village is in trouble. This is like, no, this is like a whole kingdom. The government is involved. Like, there is more at stake here, and there's more people involved as well. Because as we know before, Baroque Works is involved. We know that Crocodile is involved, who is also a warlord of the sea. So, you know, he's using his status and his power to infiltrate these people and try and take over the kingdom and stuff like that.
Yeah, and with that, with Crocodile's, like, his status, the only other warlord we've met up until this point is Mihawk, who's just one of the strongest people we've seen in the series, period, up until here. So now encountering another warlord this early, it really, like, instills some fear into the viewer, like, oh, are we going to be able to beat this guy?
Yeah.
Or not.
Especially because beforehand, when Luffy was fighting anybody, whether it was Arlong or whether it was Buggy, everyone was kind of like on their seats, like, oh, what's going to happen? Because it all happened in one singular fight. Luffy had to fight Crocodile twice, and one of those times, Crocodile stabbed him. And for me personally, that felt like a like moment. Like, it was insane because it kind of instilled the fear, like, this isn't just like an ordinary little goofy villain. Like, this is somebody who has their papers and orders and is going to do whatever they need to get what they want.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Like, Luffy really hasn't lost up until this point. And, like, I mean, he's struggled in some fights, but he's always come out in the end. But this is the first time where we see him, like, actually lose and have to recuperate and then go at it again. Before then, I was like, oh, he can't really lose. He's just going to, like, go straight through everyone. But it really shows, like, the shift in power in the world once you start progressing like he is and him and his crew are.
Yeah. It kind of sets up that, like, this is going to be a lot more. And I feel like it also, like, up until the point, we've been hearing about Alabasta since Little Garden, since Whiskey Peak. That is where Vivi wants to go. So everyone's kind of like, what the hell is Alabasta? So I feel like when we finally get there and we meet who Crocodile is, because we've also never seen Crocodile by name. We've only just known him as Mr. Zero. So we've seen and heard Mr. Zero as this, like, menacing figure, but we haven't really seen what he's been able to do. And it's just seeing him, like, his demeanor is very intimidating, is very, like, it's also just, like, the way he's also portrayed. Like, we never really see his face or ever. So when we finally do see him in action, it kind of leaves you like, okay, this isn't, like, this is serious. Like, for me, I definitely started to get like, oh my God, wait, so, like, what is going to happen? Because he also has a lot of power. No one suspects him at all. And no one's going to believe a bunch of pirates either. They're like, oh my God, a crocodile warlord of the sea is behind all this. They're not going to care. No one's going to actually believe them.
Yeah, it's pretty much connecting this back to Usopp. It's pretty much him in his island, like, when he would always say pirates. no one's going to believe the bad guys saying there's more bad guys or anything, but that is what's happening. And then I also really like Baroque Works, just their role as kind of like in our world, they would be kind of considered like a terrorist organization of some sort.
Yeah.
And they've like infiltrated every single side. We see them on the island with all the pirates where they're undercover acting like pirates. We see them on Cobra's side, like trying to protect the city, even though they're undercover, causing more harm. They're on the rebel side. And so it just shows like connecting that to our world. There's countless examples of like governments using spies or something like that to infiltrate another country and get information. So I think it's just really interesting how pretty early on in the series he's already diving into these themes and into these problems that are very real in our own world.
Yeah, I feel like the use of small groups to instill fear and get what you want, whether it be information or whether it be actual material goods, I feel like that is a theme where we are going to see a lot in One Piece, and I feel like that we do definitely see a lot in the world where smaller groups are recruited by higher up, whether it be government, whether it be the police. It's always using the people against the people, because these are all people who either have devil fruits or have a different special ability that is able to instill fear in people who might not have that and are going to be powerless, obviously, against somebody who has spikes or who can create bombs with any bodily fluid.
Yeah. No, yeah, that's definitely a fair point. Like, it's like police informants or something like that. And like we see it with the Marines making pirates warlords of the sea, pirates having pirate crews under them later on in the series with like CP9 and things like that. Like every single group in the world has these little organizations that they utilize in order to rise to be the strongest power in the world.
Yeah.
And this is like really our first real glimpse at that, other than just hearing about like warlords or hearing about other groups. But this is our first time like actually encountering and fighting against that.
Yeah. And the civil war with the people is also something that we hear Vivi talk about a lot, since also we see her in the previous arcs before where she talks about she needs to be there because it's not just Crocodile and Baroque Works here. It's the actual people of Alabasta who are also fighting against the king because they feel as if he's doing nothing. They feel as if he's just abandoned them. And we see that that's not true, but they don't know that. They feel helpless. They feel like they've been abandoned. And I feel like that's also something that's a very obvious parallel to our world where we feel as if our government has abandoned us, where our government is not even really helping us. They're just there at this point. Yeah, and Crocodile uses that to his advantage as well. He uses the people's distrust to Cobra, like, for himself. Like, and he also uses the kingdom's distrust towards the people too, because they know there's a civil war going on. So it's kind of like he's pitting them against each other, because I can't remember exactly what he says, but I think he does say, like, the kingdom and the people don't even trust each other. Like, Alabasta is just in ruins. Like, there's nothing you can do to help it.
No, yeah, like, because that really shows, like, the power propaganda that he uses, too, because he uses Baroque work agents to spread a lot of these, and, like, just the grunts that they have to spread a lot of lies between either side. So no one's able to, tell what the actual truth is. And like you said, that leads to them just not trusting Cobra, not trusting, like, either side's not trusting each other. And it really just shows, like, how these things can be created artificially, like, by a person.
Yeah.
And have really no truth behind it other than what is constantly reiterated. And it can show how, like, if you just hear the same thing over and over and not give it any thought yourself, you're going to start to believe those things.
Yeah. Because, I mean, even, like, the citizens, when there is a moment of where it could be like, oh, Cobra is with us, or Cobra is, like, not against us, he's with us, all it takes is for one person to be like, actually, wrong, and then all of a sudden everyone's kind of banded again against Cobra and his servants who are trying to help him. And they're also against Vivi, too. They'll leave in Vivi either, because she tries to stop them, but everyone is kind of, like, hesitant to believe her, because they've been hearing all of this information that Cobra isn't with them, that they've abandoned them. And it just shows that, yeah, it's hard for people to trust their leaders when there is so much propaganda and when there is so much information being spread that you don't know what to tell what's true and what's not.
Yeah, 100%. And we can see that a lot right now in our own world, I feel.
Yeah,
because
for sure.
I saw something recently. I forget where I saw it. It was probably just like a random TikTok or something I saw. But it was talking about how, like, older generations and, like, I don't know exactly how to put this, but not even older generations, just Americans in general, because shocker, we don't have the best education in the world. Shocker. But it just shows like it was a study into like how reiterating the same thing, the same like simple phrases instills that into the person no matter what. And I feel like it's literally the same exact thing. Like you got one side saying everything bad about the other side, saying like, "Oh, we promise these good things," even though they never deliver on it.
Yeah.
And the people think, "Oh, well, they said they're gonna deliver. That it must be true."
Yeah.
And then they never do. Just like how Crocodile promises, "Oh, I'll save you all from Cobra. He's a terrible guy.
Yeah.
I could say, like, I'm a much better leader." When in reality, he's the one causing all of it.
Yeah.
So I just really love the parallels there, even though this was written like early 2000s or somewhere around there.
Yeah. It's also, I kind of like that you brought that up, that Crocodile is the one to be like, I'm going to save you all, despite being the one to kind of, like, the one who started all of this. It's kind of the debate that people have too, like, oh, well, both candidates are bad. It's like, oh, everyone's like same side of a different coin and stuff like that. And it is really interesting that you say that because, yeah, that's something that, like, I thought about, where people don't trust Cobra, but they automatically trust Crocodile because he's the better candidate, quote unquote. But we see that Crocodile is the one who's orchestrating this whole thing. He's the one who's placing distrust in the people to their king, even though he's trying to help and even though he's trying to let them know, like, hey, you guys, like, I want to help. Like, I don't want this to be a thing. But Crocodile's the one who's spewing all this information, the one who's turning the people against him and still being the same one to be like, I'm going to save you guys. Trust me. Like, I'm the better candidate. Like, I'm going to be the one to help you all.
Yeah, he very much has that savior complex of just
Yeah.
like I just saw this show recently, so I have to connect it. Homelander and the Boys. I don't know if you've seen any of that, but they very much have the same vibe and just like, I'm the one that's going to save you all. Obviously, much more extreme in the Boys, but
Yeah.
I see it very similar to that and things going on in our own world. Like, why should people believe the leaders, or like they figure out how, like, the correct way to believe in their leaders, you know? Because it's not correct to just blindly follow someone in faith without having any truth for yourself. But the second they get what they think to be truth, which is, as we know, false, like false information being spread, they blindly believe that and now start to blindly follow Crocodile as their leader, despite there really being no truth spread on either side. Yeah.
Or like, to what he's saying or what he's doing, because he just kind of shows up and all of a sudden everybody the minute he shows up and says, I'm going to make everything better, all of a sudden everybody starts following him, starts to believe him, even though he has shown no real promises, or he's shown no real action to actually helping, or no one's seen anything that like shows any real action to what he's doing, or like that he's true to his word and stuff like that. So it kind of does go, when people are in desperate need, they're just going to pretty much trust what anybody says, because there's just so much going on, and there's just so much, like, when you lost all hope and then finally it comes up to you, like you're going to take it, but obviously, like, Crocodile is not their hope. Crocodile is not going to be the one to save them. And when somebody is trying to save them, when Luffy and Vivi finally come, you know, people are hesitant to believe Vivi because she's the daughter of Cobra. So no one really wants to believe her. No one really wants to actually trust her in what she's saying, even though she's the one who's actually completing actions to try and save them, to try and help them.
Yeah, I do really like that they use like Vivi as such a central character, because I mean she's obviously so involved, but they very easily could have used like Luffy or Nami, someone who doesn't have that terrible reputation that she has being connected with Cobra, to like kind of spread her message and get people onto their side. But they use her, and I really like that. Like, she's so committed to her truth and the cause that she's fighting for.
Yeah.
And it also shows like, well, we think Baroque Works is the only group that has like infiltrated every side. She herself has infiltrated and placed herself right in the heart of the enemy.
Yeah.
And did good and was able to like get information out of it, figure out a ton of what Crocodile was planning.
Yeah.
And I just really like her character as a whole.
Yeah, she's such a cool character, and she is definitely a very important character, and I feel like her courage and her bravery is something that not a lot of people can acknowledge, just because, you know, here comes this new character all of a sudden joining the Straw Hats, and she's not an official Straw Hat, but you know, everyone likes to call her an honorary Straw Hat.
Yeah.
And no one kind of acknowledges that what she does is actually like very brave and very like much what a lot of people do, which is they go to enemy sides, they go to enemy lines to gather information, which a lot of people don't come back alive from. But she was able to, and she was able to use the information to save her country, to save her people and stuff like that. It's just not something a lot of people acknowledge, because we find out from her that, yes, she finds out that Crocodile's identity, and he's the one behind all this, and she immediately tries to go and save her country. She tries to go to Alabasta, and when they do arrive there, it's a very treacherous journey all the way back, and she loses hope a lot because it's such a difficult situation for her. She even mentions it, that the people aren't going to believe her, that they aren't going to listen to her, because all of a sudden she goes missing and then she comes back with information. Why would they believe her? Like, she just left. She also abandoned them, which is a fear she has, which is she has abandoned her people, but she really hasn't. She's gone to get information to help them. She's tried to help them. And I can't think of a direct parallel to exactly in history or anything like that, but I feel like that is something that a lot of people do. They risk themselves for this country. They risk themselves to help other people and stuff like that. Well, we can kind of also tie it back to the military, how the rebels are risking themselves against the army. They're literally going against their country for their country. They just want peace. They want freedom. They could be killed by the army, and they don't care. They just want Alabasta to be free again. They want Alabasta to be in control again.
Oh, yeah. It really shows like both sides do believe they are correct. Mm-hmm. And like the rebels are fighting to save their country and save the people, while the army is fighting to protect the king and protect like all that. And it shows just that false narrative that's been played to both sides. And then also with Vivi, I really do like her and Cobra. That their entire family was one of the Celestial Dragon families that gave up their title, and they gave up everything, like all their power. I mean, they still obviously were kings of Alabasta. That's what they were before, but they chose to stay there instead of move to the Holy Land, which, I mean, later on we see like characters be like, oh, why would they ever do that? They had everything in the world. But it shows like how even characters on that side who, if you think of any Celestial Dragon, for the most part, they're the most terrible people you could think of. But these people who were associated with them and were formerly one of them are some of the most righteous and best characters we've met, and who want to do the most good and save the most people.
Yeah.
I really just like how no side is ever just purely bad.
Yeah.
Like even in Baroque works, there are individuals who like somewhat turn, like Bon Clay.
Bon Clay literally
turns completely.
Saves Luffy twice, by the way. Risks himself to save Luffy and becomes his greatest friend, helps him even in the later arcs, even though it could mean his own life as well. Because he doesn't have to, but he sees the good in Luffy, and he sees that what Luffy is trying to do, he's just simply there to help Vivi. This isn't like Luffy's mission. This isn't like Luffy doesn't have to be here. Luffy doesn't have to do anything to help, but he still comes in, but he doesn't take credit for anything. He isn't the one to say he saved Alabasta, because he leaves that up to Vivi. He just beats Crocodile, who, even though is the one who orchestrated all this, he isn't one to be like, oh, I'm the one who saved Alabasta.
Yeah, like he's the exact opposite of Crocodile in that sense, that he doesn't want the savior complex at all. He doesn't want to be called a hero. He doesn't want any of that fame. He just wants to be a pirate. He wants to stop bad people from doing bad things when he encounters it.
Yeah.
And he'll, like you said, he let Vivi decide for herself, like, you got to be the one to save the people. You got to be the one to speak to them.
Yeah.
I'll fight for you, but I'm not going to be the one to do it all. Like,
Yeah.
you still have to step up. This is your country. And I really like that about him. Like, he never, like, if it is someone else's, like, their conflict that they've been dealing with, he'll help them to work through it. He won't just take it over and do it all for them. Like, we see that in pretty much every arc, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, he'll meet a character and they'll tell them his story and he'll help them in some way. But he'll still leave it up to them to like decide the ending of the arc in some way.
That's my favorite, because I'm still on Fishman, and I recently got to the episode where oh my god, I forget her name, the mermaid princess. Shirahoshi. I was like, I knew it starts with a sh. Where he meets Shirahoshi, and she asks him, she's like, well, aren't pirates bad? And she was like, she goes, I think you're a good person. And he tells her, he goes, I'm gonna let you figure that out for yourself. And I feel like that's like my favorite thing, because it's definitely like, I'm going to let you decide, and I'm just going to be here whether you need help or not. And I feel like that's something they all tell Vivi. All the Straw Hats tell her in Alabasta, Because she even tells him, like, you don't have to come. Like, this is my war. And Luffy's like, okay, but we're friends, so I'm going to come help you.
Yeah, like, he's very much a moral compass, both for the viewer and other characters that he encounters to follow.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he rubs off what he believes very clearly onto the people around him, and that influences them to act the same way as him. And, like, that was one of my research questions on my senior paper was about him being a moral compass. And I just really like that he's just, like, everyone he encounters is so influenced by him, regardless of the way it is. Like, we've seen Marines who've changed completely. We've seen other pirates like Mr. Two or Bon Clay who've changed completely, and just countless people who've been influenced and completely changed their beliefs and their way of life because of him.
Yeah. Well, speaking of Luffy rubbing off on people, we see that he actually, at the end of Alabasta, that Robin joins them despite being Mr. I was going to say Mr. Two, despite being Crocodile's right-hand person. She is literally there for everything. She's the one who helps him with everything. But the minute she meets Luffy, she says that she kind of sees something in him. She says that she's the one who wants to join him. He's not the one to recruit her. He saves her, and she definitely questions it. She's like, why are you saving me? And he's like, I'm going to let you figure out what you want to do after I save you, which again is Luffy being a moral compass. And she just happens to choose to want to join the Straw Hats.
I do love her, how she just is on the ship, and they're all just kind of like, what?
Yeah, and she's like, I'm here to join, actually.
Yeah, like, y'all, you guys are stuck with me. You seem cool.
Yeah.
I'll just stay here for a while. And Luffy's like, okay.
Yeah, and we see that Robin's character is actually also important with the poneglyphs, which is, I feel like, where we kind of first see how important and how everyone kind of, like, really, like, sees the poneglyphs as, like, a very valuable source of, like, whether it be information or treasure. Like, the people want to find the poneglyphs and read them, and Robin is the only one who can, which I feel like is also a really interesting thing about her character.
No, yeah, she's one of my favorite characters for sure in the entire series. I mean, she plays such an important role just in the entire series, like you said with that. But also, I really love, like, because we learn her backstory later on, and I'll save that more for later episodes, but I like how we see the effect Luffy has on her more, as she's very closed off when she starts. She only refers to the crew members by nicknames, doesn't get, like, Mosshead, Longnose, stuff like that. She doesn't give them any actual names. But then later on, once we get to those moments where she realizes, like, oh, these are the people I've been searching for to live with and to spend my life with and to just do everything with. But she starts to, like, open up more and become more embracing of them. And I really like how, like, it shows, like, Luffy's able to open up everyone, even someone who's had the most traumatic past and gone through countless hardships.
Yeah, well, he's definitely an inspiration for a lot of people. And we see that with multiple characters, whether it's people being like, oh my God, he reminds me of Roger, or people, like, kind of using Luffy's, his outgoing personality, his aspirations, whether it's to be king of the pirates or it's to help somebody, his willingness to help anybody, really. People kind of use that as, like, for their own, like it's almost like an eye-opening moment for them. Like, oh my God, like, yes, I do have a dream. I do want to help people. And we see that with Vivi a lot too. Luffy's the one to kind of tell her, like, hey, snap out of it. You are the only one who can help these people. And I think we did kind of say that earlier, where Luffy's the one to be like, I can only be here to help so much, but this is your destiny. This is you. You're the one who has to help these people.
Yeah, and I like that reflects a lot later on. Or is it later on? I forget exactly when, but or either Whiskey Peak or Sabati. I think it's Sabati when, like, Rayleigh offers to give him a hint to, like, what the One Piece is and how to get there. And he's like, no, I don't want that at all. Like, this is my own journey. I want to do it myself. I don't want help. And that's the exact thing he pushes on to everyone else around him.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, all his crew has their own dreams. Zoro wants to be a swordsman. Nami wants to map the world. Sanji find the All Blue. And he is going to help them with those as their captain, but they still need to figure that out themselves.
Yeah.
He's not going to be the one to, like, do it all for them. And I really like that.
Yeah.
That's just a really great, like, way to live by.
And kind of going back to Luffy being an inspiration for everybody, I feel like we kind of see that a lot too. Even though Luffy is a very political character and is definitely, his views are very political, he himself doesn't exactly acknowledge himself as a good person, like I said before. And he isn't one to, like, parade that, like, oh yeah, like, I believe that everybody should be equal. Like, no, that's just kind of, like, what he believes in, and that's it. And I feel like we do see a lot of those people in the world where they just happen to be good people, but they don't parade it, and they're inspirations to so many people, and they also want to help the world, and they also want to be the one to help set people free, whether it's in our current world or whether it's from their own personal problems. And I feel like that's something we definitely see a lot on like social media, whether it be politicians or celebrities or just regular schmegular people, where people will see this person and they kind of remember their own dreams, their own aspirations, or they remember that, like, yes, I have power, I can fight, I actually can do something for my community. For me personally, it's when I see other people who are also young, who are also coming from the same background as me, when I see them protesting, when I see them going and using their voice, I remember that, yes, I can use my voice. My voice does matter, even though we are living in very difficult times where there is only so much we can do. I feel like it's still such an inspiration to see other people do everything no matter what. And I feel like that kind of reminds me of, yeah, like of Luffy and how he inspires other people as well.
Yeah, that is very much a problem I feel a lot of people face in our world. Like I'm only one voice. How much can what I say get done? And we see that in Alabasta too, with like Vivi doubting herself at times. Like, I'm just one person, I'm hated. How am I going to get my message through? But in reality, that voice can be amplified like tenfold, thousandfold, like depending on how you use it and depending on what you say. And like you said, like people see others on social media and that will encourage them. And they'll see people will like drive down the street and see people protesting. They'll be like, oh, I could do this too. And so, yeah, like that's a really good point. And I really like the connections between just both the arc and the protests going on in our current world.
I feel like, yeah. And you saying that, like, oh, like when people going down and like driving down and seeing other people protest, I feel like what kind of like warms my heart is like when there is a car driving and like they start like beeping their horn or they start like shaking out their hand, like, yes, I am united with you, I stand with you. I feel like that's such a moment for me whenever I see that in real life. It like warms my heart because it's like we really are one world, and we all, not obviously not all of us believe in it, but there are so many of us that truly just want to live in peace and truly just want to see all is equal and truly just want to see everybody thriving. And I feel like that's like really heartwarming to see in real life, and it's just, I love it.
Yeah, that is really nice to see. It shows like even the people who can't be out there themselves, they are still supportive. Like they have other circumstances preventing, but they still want to support and still are fighting for the right cause. This is a strange connection to make with that, but at the NBA Finals game that just happened, Game 3, Trump attended there. It was at the stadium in New York. And when they showed him on the screen during the national anthem, like everyone booed a ton.
Yeah.
And I feel like it just really shows like the connectedness.
Yeah.
Of like, because when he came over there, he like canceled a lot of stuff, changed a lot of things that were going to happen around there. And it's a strange connection to make, but I do kind of see it in some ways. The Crocodile like infiltrating Alabasta, changing the workings of everything and changing people's beliefs. And he did that. Trump simply doing this for a basketball game changed so much. It angered a ton of people. I've seen countless videos of like things in the city being destroyed after because New York lost the game. Yeah, which many people blamed him for being in attendance. But I don't know. It's a strange connection to make, but that was just on my mind.
No, I mean, yeah, I feel like it's tiny stuff like that too that is like it seems silly in theory, but like when you kind of like actually really do connect the dots, you're like, well, actually,
yeah, because it's like everything is political. It's like that saying, like even the tiniest things like that, you can look into it and look further into it, and you will find meaning, and you will find like, oh, this connects a lot further than I thought. Yeah, like I thought it was just like a basketball game. Who cares? But no, in reality, it's huge. It was like all of New York was connected over that.
Yeah, I was gonna say I saw so many TikTok videos of people being so connected. I mean, the mayor. First of all, I'm so jealous of New York's mayor. Every time I see a video of Mayor Mamdani, which shout out if you're ever listening. I can only hope.
One day.
One day.
I wonder if he watches One Piece.
If he ever watches One Piece. He seems like a man who would watch One Piece and actually understand what it's about. I mean, he was also getting really involved. He was out with the people. He was celebrating with them. I saw a video of him wearing a Knicks jersey under his suit, eating in a restaurant, singing along to Bad Bunny with people. I saw that he signed a bill basically allowing kids to stay up late so that they could watch the Knicks game and cheer for them and stuff like that. It's like that created such a sense of community for people in New York. And then to have like a dark cloud of energy like Trump come in, I feel like it definitely ruined it for a lot of people. Some people were kind of like, oh, I don't care, he can come. But it's like, no, it's like, why would you do that? Like, why would you come? Like, this is like obviously a very well affiliated and well connected country or city in this case. And here comes you, and then you're causing all this damage, bringing all this negativity, and then you just leave.
Yeah. And like, if we're really thinking about it, he doesn't care about the New York Knicks.
He really doesn't.
He also just, this is besides the point, but he just skipped his son's wedding.
Yeah.
And now he's attending a basketball game.
That's crazy.
That's pretty bad, but...
Yeah. Everyone was like, oh, he's a New Yorker too. That man is not a New Yorker.
Yeah,
Listen, I don't care if he worked there or lived there. That man is... that's not even a man. It's not even a person. I don't even acknowledge him as a real person.
That's real. I do see the reflection, though, between, like, Mamdani and Trump and then Cobra and Crocodile.
Yeah.
Because, like, one has... It is kind of strange because they did have that moment where, like, they met each other and it did seem like Trump kind of liked Mamdani, which I was not expecting that.
Yeah.
But, like, at least, like, MAGA people, I've seen countless posts trying to slander Mamdani without even, like, a shred of truth behind it. Just, like, obviously, like, blatant misinformation they're trying to spread.
Yeah.
Which, like, you can connect that to Baroque Works and them infiltrating a side and spreading information about Cobra.
Yeah.
And trying to get people to hate him without any truth being behind it. And it's just, there's so many connections you could draw.
There is, yeah, especially with this. And that is kind of funny, though, that because I was seeing a lot of things about the New York Knicks and about Mayor Mamdani. I feel like I do see a lot of things about Mamdani. And
yeah.
I feel like you saying right now that, Mamdani can be Cobra. I'm like, that's actually a really great connection because it's true. We see that Mamdani is really trying to help New York because I've seen so many TikToks about people complaining about New York, whether it's the crime or the subways or just simply New York not getting bad rep because everyone thinks New York and they think, oh, it's just rude and full of bad people and like there's so much violence. And I feel like Cobra trying to help Alabasta and actually help the people does remind me of how Mamdani did so much for New York already. Like when it snowed really bad, I heard that those roads in New York were clear because Mamdani was actually paying people. Like I think he was paying them $39 an hour to clean the streets. And people were like, wow, who knew that when you actually tell people, hey, I'm going to pay you for your work so that you can help other people, they're actually going to do it. And I guess I know I'm kind of getting I'm kind of on the same mind flow as you now with like the small connections because we see that Cobra is trying to help the people of Alabasta and he's actually trying to show like, hey, I'm here for you guys. We see that with Mamdani who's kind of like, hey, this is what I'm going to do to help and I'm going to do it for you guys because I care about you guys. And we've seen that he's gone through with his word on a lot of things. I correct me if I'm wrong, but I think he actually did do something with like where he's gonna make bus fare free or he's gonna lower it.
I did see something about that, yeah.
And I think he did actually succeed in either lowering it or like making it like it's free for like some people. I think I could be wrong, but I did see a lot of things about like where like he was the one who was gonna like help people like with public transportation and with the roads in New York. And I know he's also going to help like something with like the subway because I know they put a new system now or something like that. And I think he's doing something with that as well. I could be wrong though.
Yeah, and it is funny because even with those good things, they're like, that's objectively a good thing, like lowering those fares. Like I still see people trying to like claim like, oh, this is only going to hurt New York or something. Like, oh, now we have less money to use. But it's like, these are just pointless arguments. There's really no truth to that because like there's plenty of money that the city has. Taking away the extra like 50 cents you get per person, that's not going to change drastically.
Yeah.
But it's just like seeing that those sorts of arguments confuses me and just like, I like to think other people would also be confused, but I know there's a lot of people who, like, buy into those arguments, and they're like, oh, maybe there is some truth behind this.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say it also kind of reminds me of when we were saying how Vivi came to help, and there was, like, a moment where people believed her, but then somebody was like, no, actually, she's not here to help, and then everybody started rioting again. With the things that Mom Donnie has done, he does something good and people have some hope and stuff like that. But then there's that one person who's like, actually, this is harming New York because of this. And then all of a sudden, there's again another group of people who are like, he's not even doing anything to actually help. He's just like here doing whatever, or like he's just like goofing off, and like he's not like an actual, like he's not actually like helping the city of New York and stuff like that. When we as outsiders can clearly see that he is helping the city of New York. I think I even saw something too that the New York crime rate has gone extremely down since Mom Donnie has been in office.
Yeah. I think I did see something about that too.
Yeah.
And then it also did go significantly down for New York with the Knicks.
Yeah.
They were on like, until last night, they were on like a 12-game winning streak or something, and I think it dropped like 70% or something.
That's crazy.
Which, I mean, it just shows like how things like that can connect people, and that's just really cool to see.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a ton of examples like that all throughout.
Yeah, I feel like there's so many tiny examples that I can think about right now where I'm like, oh my God, that reminds me of how Mom Donnie did this, or that can remind me of how somebody did this, and like stuff like that.
This is a random thing to bring up, but just similar to like how community like that can help to lower like crime rates or something. When the creator of Dragon Ball died, Akira Toriyama, it lowered cartel rates, like crime rates, which is crazy.
I remember that so vividly.
Like, it lowered it by a ton.
I remember that. I still remember when the ending, when it was the Tournament of Power, and they had been watching Dragon Ball in like the big like plazas, basically, like, so like everybody who didn't have Crunchyroll, they could just come to the plaza and watch it.
That's
and
so cool.
Basically, I think it was Toei. They were like, hey, you guys can't be doing that because it's basically like almost like bootleg or something like that. So I think it was either I think the Mexican government was involved, where they signed a petition where they were like, Toei, please let us watch this together and stuff like that. And I think they did sign off on it, and yeah, they were able to play it in the courtyard, where it was when I think Goku went Ultra Instinct for the first time, and everybody was like, it was like a huge crowd of people, and everybody was like, oh my God, and like it was like one of the moments where like I think Mexico was the most united.
I just really like that moment.
Yeah.
It doesn't really connect to this, but that was just a really cool moment.
It's just funny. It also reminds me of how when Mexico and Japan played together, they kept saying arroz and rice because because obviously the Japanese people eat a lot of white rice, and we as Mexicans eat a lot of white rice too. And my favorite joke somebody made was that Mexico and Japan have joint custody of Goku. That just made me laugh. It just made me.
That is fair, though.
I think it was like it's like separated by an ocean, united by Goku or something like that. I thought it was funny.
All right, and then going back to the poneglyphs, like you mentioned, that's pretty much why this whole thing starts, because that's the information Crocodile wants. He wants the info on Pluton that's on the poneglyphs, and he wants to figure out how to make that weapon. And I feel that connects even more so to current day. Not in the terms of like getting weapons, but in terms of stopping someone else from getting weapons, like the war with Iran and what we've done to, multiple other countries all throughout history. But right now, like we have to prevent them from getting these nuclear material and nuclear missiles, even though there's very little proof, and we had stuff in place to prevent them from doing that. But I like the connection there, and just like how this entire arc is so focused on this weapon that Crocodile wants to get and that he wants to end up using. And the parallels between that and our country's obsession with weaponry and with just becoming a stronger country, despite being one of the strongest already.
Well, I was also going to say, kind of going with that, it might not relate, but I feel like it kind of does in my head, with Crocodile using Alabasta because they have something, kind of like how we use other countries for oil or for supplies and stuff like that. And it's harming the country, but they don't care. Like, they're like, well, we need it. And Crocodile is actively harming Alabasta, literally having its people turn on its king and having its king turn on its people, while he just wants this simple thing that's going to create even more violence in the world and going to create even more chaos in the world. I feel like, it kind of reminds me of how We use other countries for their source materials and stuff like that. And even though it harms their country or even though it harms the environment, we don't care. Like, oil has literally started wars. Like, this poneglyph literally started a civil war. So that's kind of where, like, my mind is going with Crocodile basically turning Alabasta on itself just for the poneglyph for Pluton.
Yeah, that's a much better connection because, like, with oil, like you said, we've gone to these countries where they do have, like, a corrupt leader and, like, the citizens aren't too happy with that leader. And then we'll go and take out whoever's in charge or whatever. And then you'll see people on the side and be like, oh, well, the citizens are happy. Like, oh, it's justified. But in reality, all we're doing, we're not providing them any aid past that point.
Yeah.
We're just, oh, we'll take that problem out and take all your materials for our own self because we did that, like, as a thank you.
Yeah.
And now we're just going to leave you guys to your own self after taking everything from you, leaving you with no leader, leaving you in complete disarray.
Yeah.
And it's pretty much exactly what Crocodile's doing. Just, I'm going to pull up to Alabasta, take the weapon I want, take the stuff I want, and leave everyone fighting and then get away with everything.
Basically, yeah. Also, so random. I still remember when Trump kidnapped, who was it? The Venezuelan?
Yeah.
I still remember. It was like 4 a.m. Mind you, I'm cleaning and watching One Piece. It's 4 a.m. I'm frantically cleaning the house because I have nothing else to do at 4 a.m.
Of course.
And I remember sitting down and I was watching One Piece. And I think I was on Sabaody at this point. So I'm like watching Sabaody. Also another very political arc. Sitting down and reading this, and I was like, oh my god. I was like, this isn't real. And I think he bombed them too. He bombed them and he kidnapped their leader, and then he just left them like that.
Yeah.
And I mean, yeah, the people were kind of happy. I'm not gonna lie, the memes that came out from that were kind of diabolical.
Like, there is some, like there's people there who were being, like, oppressed by the bad leader. Like, they are happy, and it's kind of like how Crocodile says, like, oh, Cobra's oppressed you guys. He's done all this bad, even though he's the one that's built it up. And there's proof of that, too. Like, we, as a country, have put people in place in other countries who completely went against, like, what we thought they would. Like, we're like, oh, this guy will be good. He'll listen to us or something, even though, and then it leads to like the country, more people being oppressed or something like that. And it was our fault for putting people in place instead of, like, actually trying to, like, work with the country.
Yeah.
Like, and then a big connection with Cuba right now also between, like, because they were in a huge crisis, like blackout after losing their oil. And like, or because they, I believe got their oil from the Strait of Hormuz. And when that got blocked, they had to start bidding on other places, which they were not able, like, not a guaranteed amount of oil they were able to get, which then led to the blackout. And that's even more so with Alabasta when Crocodile gets rid of all the dance powder that gives them water. They are all in disarray. They're fighting for water. They need this to live. And now without it, you could see how Alabasta starts to fall into ruin. And there's no one, I mean, there are people trying to help them, just like there are people trying to, like, send aid to Cuba or things, but they're actively being blocked. I saw a few weeks ago, like, a ship that got blocked going to Cuba that was trying to give them aid, and it's purely for political gain of like our own country, which is just stupid.
Yeah, it's terrible.
But the connections there are, like, vast. You can make so many.
Literally, yeah. It's like, it's like when you start, it seems silly because it's like, oh, this is like a show about pirates, but it's like, no, there's so much to it.
Yeah.
Especially when it's like small moments like that, like the water being withheld from the people when water is something that we need to survive. Like right now with the data centers too, like people are using clean water for the data centers. And I got into an argument with this about somebody. Somebody was like, water is recyclable. It's fine. Like, no, like the clean drinking water is fine. And I'm like, do you see what the water looks like after? It's disgusting. And I saw that people are literally having water shipped in, like, water bottles to shower, to drink, to cook. And I'm like, that is so incredibly sad and dehumanizing that basically the one thing that we need to live, water, is being restricted from us because it's being used for political gain. It's like, in what world does that make sense?
Oh, yeah. I want to look this up real quick, too, because only 2.5 to 3% of all water on Earth is fresh water. So, like, we can't use the other stuff. It is a finite amount. There is a certain amount we can use, and then one day it will be gone. And all we're doing is speeding up the process.
Basically.
These data centers.
Yeah, well, didn't they say the data centers used more water than a water bottle company does?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's insane. And I feel like that is a really important point that I feel like I didn't make, because I was like, ugh, whatever, like when I was doing the whole arguing about data centers using more water, because the other person was basically like, I just don't see what's the problem with AI. It's so helpful. It's so, it's here to help. It just kind of made me upset, because I was like, listen, the way AI is being used though is not what we think it could be used for. You know what I mean? Like, people aren't using it in a good way. People are using it to do their homework. People are using it to think for themselves. People are using it for dumb stuff. Like, no, it does not matter. No one cares how you look like at a baseball game. Go to a real baseball game.
Yeah, exactly. And like, AI should be used to do all the hard jobs that, like, the hard life or death jobs that humans shouldn't have to do. Well, humans should be able to, like, create art, do whatever they want.
Yeah.
But currently it's flopped, where AI is the one creating art and doing all these things for people. Well, people have to still work these hard jobs that are risking their lives.
Yeah.
And I just hate that it's that way right now.
And in the process, destroying our means of life.
Yeah.
It's just, like, I feel like fresh water being a finite item is something that I definitely should have brought up, because, the world is made up of water, but it's made up of salt water.
Yeah.
And I could be wrong, but I don't think you can filter salt water, or I don't think you can make it drinkable in any way, because if we could, then so many people would have done that already.
Yeah. I think there is some ways, but I don't think we're doing it in, like, any mass production way, at least that's publicly known.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, isn't it illegal to collect rainwater too in some states, because it's technically like you're stealing? And it's like, huh? That's actually crazy.
That is wild.
That is, like, such a stupid thing. It doesn't even sound real, like, when you say it. It's illegal to collect rainwater because you're stealing. From who exactly?
Yeah. And, like, in the One Piece world too, like, they have more water than us. I'm pretty sure I don't know the exact size. That's a big debate within the community of the One Piece world, like how big it is compared to Earth. But it's pretty much entirely islands and water. And even Alabasta, and it is an island, they have such a struggle with water because they can't use the water that's surrounding them. They have to only use the finite amount that they have.
Yeah.
And we see how losing that water and one side holding that water from everyone else can affect them. Yeah.
I mean, we see that when Luffy, he eats the powder, and they're like, what are you doing? And they're like, that was our means of life. And he's kind of confused. He's like, what do you mean? Just drink water. Like, just get water. And they're like, no, you don't understand. And, like, they explain how water is a finite item for them. And, that just reminded me of the whole, like, data centers using water, how the aid to Cuba is, like, being withheld and stuff like that, because people are basically being withheld from actual human necessities that they need to survive, whether it be for political gain or to save money or to help people, quote unquote.
I also really like you mentioning Luffy eating the powder, because that shows, like, the culture shock that he experiences a lot. Because he is, like, a very, like, open learning stuff. He is very, like, singular in his ways of thinking until he learns more things. Like, he's like, oh, I'm going to be free. That's it. Or, like, oh, just get water. Like you said, like, why don't you just go get water? He, like, hasn't really experienced, like, oh, I mean, he has. We do know as we learn his past and things, but he still has that way of thinking that, like, oh, you could just go get some. Like, and then he learns these things like, oh, there are people who can't just go get water.
Yeah.
They have to actually, like, live their life fighting for water and struggling to get water.
And we see him later when the old guy who he eats the powder from, we see him that he has to dig up his own water. He has to dig a huge hole just to gather water to go fight Crocodile again. This Crocodile has the sand fruit. So we see Luffy struggling to get this water. And kind of like you said, it's a culture shock. He realizes, like, water isn't just something that you can go get in this world. Like, water is something that, like, you have to struggle and fight for.
Yeah. Also, just the fact Crocodile should not have lost, but, like, he has such an overpowered devil fruit, especially being at Alabasta, which is a desert. Like,
being a sand, basically having your body be made of sand in a desert, and you lose because of water.
Yeah. Like, come on now.
Yeah, I just watched Spider-Man 3, and I'm thinking about how that was also his weakness. But then he regains his body again at the end of it. I'm like, so What is the issue?
Yeah. It was just, I don't know, very, very funnily written.
Yeah, but, there's only so much.
Yeah. Well, that's going to be it for episode 3 of No Justice, No One Piece. My name is Daniel Justic.
My name is Perla Cobos.
And we are glad you could join us today.
Yep.
Have a good one.
Bye-bye.